Hey guys! Okay, this is going to be the third portion of the anatomy series. Alright, and we're going to be focusing on the neck and head, and just little tips to keep in mind when you are drawing the neck and head. So, go here. First thing is the neck is basically the spinal column that attaches to the base of the skull. Okay, so if you want to get technical with anatomy, that is what that whole thing is. And the spine is what basically connects all the major masses and runs all of your nerve endings through the rest of your body, and it is a very important thing and you want to protect it. Anyway, so there are 7 vertebrae from the base of the skull to the point where they meet the neck. You'll hear me say 7th cervical vertebrae, and that is the point on the neck that you will see on a lot of people. It kind of sticks out between the muscles, and that is the point which you measure against for the pit. The pit of the neck. So those 2 points, that'll give you the angle of the rib cage. And the rib cage again sits forward as the pelvis sits back, and then the pelvis is down here, and it can be represented by a block. But right now we're just focusing on the neck. So as you can see, the neck has a nice curve to it. The spine does this really nice flowing motion. It's an S curve essentially, and up here is where you have these 7 little vertebrae attached at the base of the skull, which is right behind the jawline. But when you're drawing the neck, you don't draw this column. This is like the skeleton version of like setting up a drawing. There are muscles that run down the back, and they attach at the base of the skull, and they run over. And that right there, they attach, like, if you take out from the point where the jaw meets and you go straight out, you'll have, that's where you're going to have, like, at the back of the skull right there. That's where those muscles attach. So that's going to give you the first portion of, like, how to draw the neck. Sorry, I should be doing this in different colors. Anyways, the next muscle you want to think about, and if you think about the neck, it is a cylinder, it is a column. Our throat's in there, that's how we swallow. There are a bunch of muscles, tissues, and little bones that all sit in here, and glands, and a ton of other things. So when you look at the neck, there's a muscle that runs from the back of the jaw down to the pit of the neck right here. And those muscles, you'll see they're on either side. They will, basically they're what turn your neck, and if you get swollen glands, they're the ones that kind of stick out. All right, so from the bottom of the jaw, there is a muscle that is on the bottom of your jaw. You can kind of feel it a little bit. It's like very thin, fibrous muscles that go from the bottom of the chin, and they run back into the neck. And then you have like the Adam's apple that sits in here. There's a bunch of fine other little tiny bones and muscles that are in there, and I can't remember them, but the big ones that give the mass shape are the ones under the chin, the side, and then the ones that attach to the back. And then you have the Adam's apple, or if you are drawing a female neck, you're going to have more of a softer look. They aren't going to have, females don't tend to have very defined necks. They will have this one cord here. Here, I'll draw this in front view for you. They will have like just a gentle slope that comes in like that, and you will see this one muscle right there. Right. So from the face forward position, you're not really going to see the slope of the neck too much. That's just mostly because, like, unless a person is seriously like hunched and deformed over, you won't really see like a huge curve type thing, right? Okay, so from forward facing, right from behind the jaw, so there's like a slight indent the jaw, you're gonna have, hold on, let's just get this. So the 7th cervical vertebrae is gonna be kind of on level with the chin. It's gonna be somewhere like right there. So, and then your shoulder line will also line up with the chin. So that gives you a little bit of proportional play, so you know how long your neck's going to be, because you can't oh god. So if you have a character that's neck looks like they're an ostrich, it's because your shoulder line's too low. You just need to raise your shoulder line. It should fix your drawing. Little tip. Anyways, alright. So from the front, you won't really see these muscles under here if the person is a very athletic looking individual. If they have a little bit of weight on them, that's where you get that double chin that comes down. It'll have like the fat will kind of gather, and then you can define the double chin if you have a character that has a little bit more weight on them. And there's also, I forget what it's called. It's like, I think it's some kind of a degenerative bone disease where the bottom jaw doesn't actually grow. So that's when you get the people that you'll see them a lot of times and they'll have like this super small chin and then their neck just kind of comes forward like that. I forget what it's called, but it's like the jaw doesn't grow with the person. So like the top part of their head grows, but the jawbones don't. It's very odd. Anyways, back to drawing. So you'll see there's a tiny indent here. That's where the neck starts, from behind the jaw, or the muscles come from behind the jawline. And you'll just run them down, and the inside is going to attach, and that's where you're going to get that line. And then you can add just a little line in here, which will define what kind of looks like a little V or cup type thing, and then you just kind of run some lines over it. That's the Adam's apple. You'll only see that on men, unless the woman, you may see it on a woman if she's severely underweight or very, very athletic. It doesn't really come up with women a lot because we have a lot of fat on our necks. Women tend to have more fat on their bodies. That's why their muscle definition is more soft. And from here you have the collarbone, which goes up like that. But yeah, so the shoulder muscles, and this is trapezius right here, is the muscle I was talking about when I was doing the back muscles. You see that from the front. Some people won't have it as defined, but generally it basically, here, I'll just use this guy again. So here's the back. It attaches up here and it flares out, and then it attaches again down at the center of the back. But it goes over the shoulder blades, and it's the thing that helps you raise your shoulders up, like to do that shrugging motion, and it holds a lot of tension. So you'll notice people get knots. That's trapezius. That's what's causing that problem. Anyways, we're not talking about that. But that also gives you part of the definition of the shoulder line as well. But yeah, so these two muscles that run from behind the jawline, just like under the ear and then down, those are the muscles that give you the movement to move your head from side to side. And then these little guys here will help you like raise and like nod your head, essentially, like with the back muscles, and then these guys are the little front muscles that help pull your head back. But all this stuff helps keep your head on top of your shoulders so it doesn't like loll to one side. And there are other little tissue muscles that run down and attach all along the collarbone, but those don't really, unless you're like straining and you see those hulking guys where they've got their muscles like bulging out and they're doing this thing, you won't really see those. Those are like if someone's straining, those muscles come out. So just generally speaking, you won't really see them, but you will kind of have the definition of these muscles here. Anyway. Okay, what not to do when drawing the neck and head. It is a common thing to think that the neck starts right at the jawline, and it doesn't. A book I recently reviewed had this in it throughout the entire book, and it made me nuts. They were attaching the neck right at the jaw point. You don't do that. The muscles of the neck, like that's basically where the spinal column is. that's not where, like, the spinal column is like in between all of the muscles and everything. It's being protected. So the muscle of the neck comes back, and then that'll come down like that. So there's always going to be a space between the jaw where it meets the ear and where the neck starts. Usually, like, it always comes off the back of the cranium. Always remember that there's a space in here, okay? It will just make your drawings look a little bit better, and you won't be making people with no muscles on their neck. The other thing I've seen people do is they'll have a figure and it'll be sitting, like, they'll just be like in a very relaxed pose, but their neck will be like straight up and down like this, and they'll put details on it and they'll try and make it look natural, and it doesn't look natural. It looks like the person's been sucked up a tube and they have a pole shoved up their ass and through their skull. And there's only one pose where this happens, and then there would be like fat and facial tissue being squished back, and it's that pose where you kind of, you rear your head back and you like pull your chin right back. That's a very extreme pose. That's not something you use when someone's sitting naturally. When someone's sitting naturally, they're going to have that slope. They can be sitting up straight, but they're going to have just that natural curve in their neck. And that is where a lot of people who don't understand anatomy really well, or are faking anatomy, will fail. So just remember that the neck, like the head, if you can remember that, the neck like joint, like the spine joins right here, but the muscles run off the back, and there's a little bit of a thrust forward for the head, then you will be leaps and bounds ahead of the rest. Puns. Anyway, if you have any questions on this video or any of my other videos, please let me know in the comments below. If you want me to define anything a little bit more, again, please just let me know in the comments. Yeah, so see, this is what I mean with a woman. Like, usually women, they'll have that one line to define, but there's not a lot of definition on the necks. Women don't have a lot of definition when it comes to muscles because it makes them look masculine. I don't know why, it just does. Anyway, all right, have any questions, just ask. Chat at you guys later. Bye bye.